Om Sai Ram. Chapter 14. Rotanji Wadia of Nanded, Saint Mouli Sahib, Dakshina Mimamsa. In the last chapter, we about uh, described how Baba's word and grace cured many incurable diseases. Now we shall describe how Baba blessed Mr. Ratonji Wadia with an issue. The life of this saint is naturally sweet in and out. His various doings, eating, walking, and his natural saying are also sweet. His life is bliss incarnate. Sai gave it out as a means of his devotees' remembrance to him. He gave them various stories of duty and action which ultimately led him to true religion. His object may be that people should live happily in this world, but they should be very cautious and gain the object of their life with self realization. We get human body as a result of merits in past of their life with self realization. We get human body as a result of merits in past birth, and it is worthwhile that with its aids we should decoction attain devotion and liberation in this life. We should never be lazy but always be on the alert to give our end and an aim of life, to gain our end and aim of life. If you daily hear the Leela stories of Sai, you will always see him day and night. You will remember him in your mind. When you assimilate Sai in this way, your mind will lose its fickleness, and if you go on in this manner, it will finally be merged in pure consciousness. Ratunji of Nanded. Now let us come to the main story of this chapter. In Nanded, in the Nizam state, there lived a Parsi mill contractor and trader by the name Ratunji Shapurji Wadia. He had amassed a large amount of money and had acquired fields and lands. He had got cattle and horses and convents, and was very prosperous. To all outward appearance, he looked very happy and contented, but inwardly he was not so providential. Dispensation in such is such that no one on in his world is completely happy and rich. Ratunji was no exception to this. He was liberal and charitable, gave food and clothing to the poor, and helped all in various ways. People took him to be a good and happy man, but Ratunji thought himself miserable as he had no issue, male or female, for a long time, as Kirtan, singing glories of the Lord without love or devotion, music of singing without rhythmical accompaniment, Brahmin without the sacred thread, proficiency in all art without common sense, pilgrimage without repentance, and ornamentation without necklace are ugly and useless. So is the house of a man or household without issue. Ratunji always boarded on this house on this matter, and said in his mind, O God, be very pleased to grant me an issue. He thus looked morose and had no relish of his food. Day and night he was enveloped with anxiety whether he would ever be blessed with an issue. He had a great regard for Das Gunu Mahajat. He saw him and opened his heart before him. Das Guna advised him to go to Shirdi, take Baba's darshan, fall at his feet, fall at his feet and seek blessing and pray for issue. Ratunji liked the idea and decided to go to Shirdi. After some days, took uh, he went to Shirdi, took Baba's darshan. He took out a he took Baba's darshan and fell at his feet. Then, opening a basket, he took out a beautiful garland of flowers and placed it around Baba's neck and offered him a basket of fruit. With great respect, he then sat near Baba and prayed to him, saying, "Many persons who find themselves in difficult situation come to you, and you receive them immediately. Hearting this, I have sought anxiously your feet. Please, before therefore do not disappoint me." Sai Baba then asked him for dakshina of rupees 5, which Ratunji intended to give, but added that he has received rupees 314 from him, and that he should pay the balance only. Hearing this, Ratunji was rather puzzled. He could not make out what Baba meant. That was the first time he thought that he went to Shirdi. And how was it that Baba has said that he had formerly got rupees 314 and 14 from him? He could not solve the riddle, but he sat at Baba's feet and gave the balance of the dakshina asked for, explained to Baba fully as to why he came and sought his help, and prayed that Baba should bless him with a issue. Baba was moved and told him not to be worried, and that time his bad days had ended. He then gave him Udi, placed his hand on his head, and blessed him, saying that Allah God would satisfy his heart's desire. Then, after taking Baba's leave, Ratunji returned to Nanded and told Das Guna everything, and that took place at Shirdi. He said that everything went on well, that he got Baba's darshan and blessing with prasad, but there was one thing which he could not understand. Baba said to him that he had got rupees 314 before, please explain as to what Baba meant by this remark. He said to Dasguna, "I never went to Shirdi before, and how could I give him a sum of which Baba referred?" And to Dasguna also it was a puzzle, and he pondered much over it for a long time. Sometime after, it struck him that Ratunji had received some day ago a Mohammedan saint by the name Mauli Sahib in his house, and had spent some money for his reception. This Mauli Sahib was Kuli saint, well known to the people of Nanded. When Ratunji decided to go to Shirdi, this Mauli Sahib accidentally came to Ratunji's house. Ratunji knew him and loved him. He gave a small party in his honor. Dasguna got from the Ratunji the yadi and or memo of expense of this reception, and everybody was wonderstruck to see that the expense amounted to exactly rupees 314, nothing more, unless nothing less. They all came to know that Baba was omniscient. That thought he lived in Shirdi. He knew what happened outside, far away from Shirdi. In fact, he knew the past, present, and future, and could identify himself, heart and soul, with anybody. In this particular instance, how could he know the reception given to Mauli Sahib and the amount spent therefore, unless he could identify himself with him and be one with him? Ratunji was satisfied with this explanation, and his faith in Baba was confirmed and increased. In due time afterwards, he was blessed with a son, and his joy knew no bounds. It is said that he had in all a dozen and 12 issues, out of which only 4 survived. In the footnote towards the end of this chapter, it is stated that Baba told Rao Bahadur Hari Vinayak Sathe, after the death of his first wife, to remarry, and he would get a son. Baba RB Sathe married second time. The first 2 issues of this wife were daughters, and he therefore felt very despondent, and but the third issue was a son. Baba's word did turn out true, and he was satisfied. Dakshina Mimansa. Now we shall close this chapter with a few remarks about Dakshina. It is well known fact that Baba always asked for Dakshina from people who went to see him. Somebody may ask a question: if Baba was a fakir and perfectly non attached, why should he ask for Dakshina and care for money? We shall consider this question broadly now. First, for a long time, Baba did not accept anything. He stored burnt matches and filled his pocket with them. He never asked anything from anybody, whether he be a devotee or otherwise. If anybody placed before him a piece or two, he purchased oil or tobacco. He was fond of tobacco, but from tobacco, for he always smoked a bidi or chilam, an earthen pipe. Then some persons thought that they could not see the saint empty handed, and they therefore placed some copper coins before Baba. If a piece was placed before him, he used to pocket it. If it was a 2-piece coin, it was returned and immediately. Then after Baba's fame had spread far and wide, people began to flock in numbers, and Baba began to ask for the dakshina from them. It is said in the Shruti Veda that puja of the god is not complete unless a golden coin was offered. If a coin was necessary in the puja of gods, why should it be or not so in the puja of a saint also? Ultimately, the Shastras laid it down that when one goes to see God, king, saint, or guru, he should not go empty handed. He should offer something, preferably coin or money. In this connection, we may notice the precept recommended by Upanishads. The Briha Dharayang Upanishad said that Lord Prajapati advised the gods, men, and demon by one letter, Da. The gods understood by this letter that they should practice dama, that is self-control. The man thought or understood that they should practice dana, that is charity. the demon understood that they should practice daya, that is compassion. To man, charity aid or giving was as recommended, and the teacher is teacher and in the Taittiriya Upanishad exhorts his people to practice charity and other virtue. Regarding charity, he says, give with faith, give with magnanimity, that is liberally, give with modesty, with awe, and with sympathy, in order to teach the devotees and the lesson of charity and to remove their attachment to money and thus to purify their mind. Baba extracted dakshina from them, but there was his peculiarity, as Baba said, that he had to give back 100 times more what he received. There are many instances in which this has happened. To quote an instant, Mr. Ganapatra Bodas, the famous actor, says in his Marathi autobiography that on Baba's pressing him often and often for dakshina, he emptied his money bag before Baba. The result of this was, as Mr. Bodas says, that in later life he never lacked money, as it came to him abundantly. There was also secondary meaning of dakshina in many cases in which Baba did not want any pecuniary amount. To quote two instances: number one, Baba asked for rupees 15 as dakshina from pro Gigi Narke, who replied that he did not have even a pie. Then Baba said, I know you have no money, but you are reading Yoga Vasistha. Give me dakshina from that. Giving dakshina in this case meant deriving lesson from the book and lodging them in the heart where Baba resides. Number two, in the second case, Baba asked a certain lady, Mrs. R. A. Tarkar, to give rupees 6 as dakshina. The lady felt pained as she had nothing to give. Then her husband explained to her that Baba wanted 6 inner enemies, lust, anger, avarice, etc., to be surrendered to him. Baba agreed with this explanation. It is to be noted that Baba collected a lot of money by dakshina. He would distribute the whole amount the same day, and the next morning he would become a poor fakir as usual. When Baba took his Mahasamadhi after receiving thousands and thousands of rupees as dakshina for about 10 years. He had only a few rupees in his possession. In short, Baba's main object in taking dakshina from his devotees was to teach them the lesson of renunciation and purification. Postscript: Mr. B.V. Dew of Thane, retired Mamlatdar and a great devotee of Baba, has written an article on this subject, Dakshina, that is Shri Sai Leela Magazine, Volume 7, page 6 to 26, in which he says, amongst other things, as follows. Baba did not ask dakshina from all. If some gave dakshina without being asked, he sometimes accepted it and other times he refused it. He asked it from certain devotees only. He never demanded it from those devotees who thought in their mind that Baba should ask them for it and then they should pay it. If anybody offered it against his wish, he never touched it, and if he kept it there, he asked him to take it away. He asked for small or big amount from devotees according to their wish and devotion and convenience. He asked it even and from women and children. He never asked all the rich for it, nor from all the poor. Baba never got angry with those with from whom he asked dakshina and who did not give it. If any dakshina was sent through some friend who forgot to hand over the same to Baba, he reminded him somehow of it and made him pay it. On some occasion, Baba used to return some from the amount tendered as dakshina and ask the donor to guard it and keep it in his shrine for worship. This procedure benefited the donor and devotee immensely. If anybody offered more than he originally intended to give, he returned the extra amount. Sometimes he asked more dakshina for some from some and then what they originally intended to give, and if they do not if they have no money, ask them to get or borrow from others. From some he demanded dakshina 3 or 4 times a day. Out of the amount collected as dakshina, Baba spent very little for his own sake, viz. For buying chilim, clay pipe, and fuel for his dhuni, sacred fire, and all for the rest. He distributed the charity in varying proportion to various persons. All the paraphernalia of Shri Sansthan was brought by various rich devotees is at the instance and suggestion from Radha Krishna Mai. Baba always used to get wild and scolded those who brought costly and rich articles. He said to Mr. Nana Sahib Chandorkar that all his property consisted of one coppin coat piece, one stray piece of cloth, one kafni, and a tumbrel tin pot, and that all the people troubled him by bringing all these unnecessary, useless, and costly articles. Women and wealth are two main obstacles in the way of our pramartha spiritual life, and Baba was Baba and provided in Shirdi two institutions with Dakshina and Radha Krishna Mai. Whenever they came to him, he demanded Dakshina from them and asked them to go to the school Radha Krishna Mai's house. If they stood these two tasted well, they taste well, that is, if they showed that they were free from attachment for women and wealth, their progress in spirituality was rapish and assured by Baba's grace and blessing. Mr. Dio has also quoted passages from Gita and Upanishad and shown that the charity given in holy place and to holy personage conduces to the donor welfare to a great degree. What is more holy than Shirdi and its preceding duty, Sai Baba? Bow to Shri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.